What is happening? You guys are listening to Big Brown Breakdown. I will be your host on this journey on this lovely, lovely Wednesday morning. I am Brendan Schaub. I am coming off 4 hours of sleep, so if I look like pure death, if you're watching this on YouTube, that is why. I had a good night last night, man. I shot for Comedy Central on This Is Not Happening. We shot it at Chiesa's Strip Club. It's such a unique venue. It's crazy, man. Because it's a round stage, and there's a crowd behind you and in front of you, and you're on a stripper stage.
Yeah.
Like straight up stripper stage. It was a cool environment, right?
I didn't expect it to look that classy.
Right.
It actually looked classy, yeah.
I agree, man. For a strip, like when I heard of that strip, I'm like, what? And then I asked Diaz and Rogan, like, yeah, they do it there all the time. You're gonna love it. It's amazing. I'm like, all right. And it was just a good time, man. 5:30 call time. So 5:30, got their makeup, bought a fresh new outfit, a rag and bone before that. Look good, tell jokes good. And so 5:30 call time, and then I didn't go on till 9:30.
It was a while for sure.
Yeah, I was supposed to go on at 8, didn't go on about 9:30. It was the delay. So you're just chilling around here in the green room with other comics. Everyone was cool, man. But at the Comedy Store, I typically know most guys there, especially on the same bill as a lot of my friends here. Yeah, I really didn't know anyone. I mean, Brad Williams.
Oh yeah, you knew him. Yeah,
Brad Williams. He's my boy, but we're not like,
Oh, okay.
I hang out a lot with him. So it was just me, and then there's a bunch of agents back there, and the agents always a little strange, but I mean, they had great spread, and it was so well done, and it's because they had like all these tents in the back because the strip club's tiny, so I had to make like the green rooms in the back at all these tents and this AC. It was cool, man. I had a great time. You guys to see it? I asked them like, well, when can people see it? Because everyone's asking me, and they're like, probably October, November.
Jeez,
I know,
it's far away. Are you allowed to tell people who was on it, or you can't
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure.
Right now?
Yeah, I'm
okay.
sure. I think.
Okay, I don't want to say anything then.
Yeah, well, Brad Williams is on it now. You guys know.
Yeah, but there's also a famous musician. Yeah, I don't want to say his
He was
name,
awesome.
Yeah, he's cool.
And he was the one guy who was better dressed than me. And we were both in the.
He looked sharp.
We were both in the makeup chair. I went. Yeah. I don't know who he was, to be honest. I know his music. I don't know who he is. Yeah. And I go, damn, man. He had this fresh haircut. I go, damn, man. How you gonna outdress me? And he goes, we're basically wearing the same thing, bro. I go, no, we're not. You got a sports coat on. You look fucking sweet. And he goes, thanks, man. This is awkward. I'm like, sorry, man. I like your outfit. It was weird. He for sure thought I was gay. That was weird. And I've never had so much makeup on my face.
I couldn't tell.
Really?
Yeah.
That's just, they're like, yeah, the camera and this. And you know what my favorite part was besides the story? And you guys see the story. I'll talk about it more when it comes out. I got emotional, man, telling it because, like, people were asking me as I'm driving down there. I was talking to Brian, and he goes, dude, you're going to do Comedy Central. How crazy is that? I'm like, I don't want to talk about it, man. I just want to get done, and I'll deal with it at the time. Because my thing is, I just go. I don't want to. I don't want to put more pressure on myself. I don't think about that stuff. And as I'm on stage, probably 3/4 of the way done with the story, and it hits me. I'm on Comedy Central. Homeboy choked up. I choked up. I
think I noticed. I saw the time when it happened too, because it felt way more emotional when you're saying the story this time.
Yeah.
So yeah. It made it better though, I think.
Yep. This shit is real. So it was great, man. And then got done with that and went straight from there. And then I had a set at the Comedy Store, and I followed. It went Rogan, Dane Cook, then me. Yeah. Wow. Yep. It was packed, man. Packed. The lineup was insane. So insane. I just love it there. Comedy Store's like fucking Disneyland, man. For comics. It's so ridiculous. That was fun, man. Then after that, I just stood. I hung out in the parking lot. Me and Rogan probably talked for damn near 2 hours. We haven't caught up in a while, just talking about fight stuff and everything going on. And hopefully I have some cool news for you guys in regards to Conor and Mayweather soon. And then I'm off to New York. So this will be a shorter show because they actually changed my flight to earlier because I needed to land earlier for meetings now to New York. So, this will be a shorter one. Still a good one. Just definitely got to get it in. And that's it, man. Head to New York. In New York, trying to think I'll be on Barstool. I'm doing something with meetings. I forget what else shows I'll be blasting them out. And then obviously I'm doing the Spike TV live stuff for the big Madison Square Garden pay-per-view card, which one of the cards is on Spike, and the main event of that is Phil Davis and Ryan Bader for the light heavyweight championship of the world, and that leads you into the pay-per-view, which is headlined by Wanderlei Silva, Fedor, Chael Sonnen, Matt Mitrione. I know they're not fighting, so I'm just ripping off the names. You got Douglas Lima versus Lorenz Larkin. You got Chandler, Primus, Aaron Pico, Zach Freeman. I mean, the card is stacked. And I'm going to break that down in this one. And then I've almost forgotten. And then also New York Thursday night, tomorrow night, I'm at Gotham Comedy Club doing a Big Brown Breakdown live. And then also on this episode, we will break down a little bit. There's not too much going on. You got UFC Fight Night on a Sunday. You got Michael Chiesa versus Kevin Lee. Kevin Lee got some marketing behind him right now. It's going to be interesting. And the rest of the card, they're fun matchups, but did any of you guys listen? Did you know BJ Penn fights this weekend?
No, that is crazy.
Did you also know Johnny Hendricks fights this weekend? Me neither. And I'm balls deep in this game. I mean, I knew, but it's not like anyone in the world is talking about it. So let's get some current events, and we'll break those bitches down.
Sounds good. First one, the tragic story of Tim Hague dying. There is a little bit of light. So someone created a GoFundMe page right after his death to take care of funeral expenses, and they met their goal within 24 hours. So I thought that was really cool for the MMA community and everyone else to pitch in and reach that. And I think it was originally like $20,000. Mm-hmm. They did that in 24 hours, and I think it's up to like $40,000 now.
Yeah, I'll donate to that for sure. I don't know their financial situation. I would assume
he's got a son they left behind, 9-year-old kid. Yeah, it's terrible.
I'd assume him taking these professional boxing fights and looking at his MMA career, he's not exactly Conor McGregor as far as his bankroll. So yeah, it's tough on the family. I don't know was he married? Do we know?
I don't know about marriage.
Either way, you got a kid.
Yeah, he's got a kid.
So it's fucking heartbreaking. This is the dark side of the sport, man. You're gonna have some casualties. Yeah, I don't think it's awful what happened to him. It's also the exception. But no one needs to get up in arms and we need to put a stop this and brain trauma. Listen, there's a lot of red flags leading up to Tim Hague's demise that he shouldn't have been fighting. He got knocked out before. You know who really needs to be examined here is the commission who sanctioned this fight. Looking back on his previous brain trauma resume, you look back on he's been knocked out before. He's been knocked out recently. You look at his past few fights. Tim's a fighter. He's always going to want to fight. That's what makes a fighter fight. They're going to fight. If you cut off Tim's right arm, he's still going to take that fight. So who is in charge of it? That would be why do we have commissions? For the safety of the fighters. They should be responsible in some form of the death of Tim Hague. And if they're not, that is fucking crazy and it's a scam.
It's interesting you brought that up.
They should be paying for the funeral. They should be taking care of his kid.
Check this out. The commission is they're the one requesting for a third-party review of everything that happened because they don't know exactly why this would have happened. But then when you're saying that they should have known about the knockouts prior, so that's it right there.
Well, so just so you guys know, when you take a fight, you have to fill out. It goes, and I fought in Canada. They're all the same. You fill out paperwork. It goes, when was the last time you were knocked out? You fill that out. What were your last 3 fights? When? Who? Where? You fill that out. What was the result? You fill that out. Mm-hmm. They look over all that. Then you get a brain scan. Typically, it depends. I don't know exactly with Edmonton how it works. You get a CT scan. You get your blood work. You get your eyes checked. But the day before the fight, at weigh-ins, you go through. They examine your body. They do all these other tests. So somewhere along the lines, they slip through the cracks. Third-party review of boxing match resulted in Tim Hague's death. Third-party review? What are you looking for?
No, they're ordering a third-party review because they're saying that they thought they were doing everything right, but there's obviously holes in the way they do stuff. So they want a thorough investigation on what possibly could have
Save
led
your
to
fucking
this.
money. Here's your third-party review. He just got knocked out a few months ago, and before that, he got knocked out. Before that, things weren't great in the career of Tim Hague. There's your review. Save your goddamn money. Do it yourself.
Yeah, knockouts beforehand would
It's horrible, man.
be a real big
Again,
reason.
fighters are going to fight. That's what they do. They're going to fight whether they have brain trauma. They're going to fight if they have broken bones, if they have scars on their face. You know, Tim was much more of a fighter than I ever was. Tim had fighting in his blood. Even when I fought Andrei Arlovsky, the week before the fight, I had 7 stitches in my eye, above my eye. I had them super glue it and spray paint it so the commission could not tell I had to cut my eye just so I could take the fight. That's me. Tim Hague is a rough neck dude. Of course he's going to fight with brain trauma. Guys don't even think about that. You look at this Ultimate Fighter with all these guys, with all these old vets. It'll depress you a little bit. You watch that and you're like, where did these guys go? Let's say you win this show. Then what? Then you never made it in the UFC. You won basically, so you won the C level of competitors, Ultimate Fighter. Guys who never made it, guys who didn't have it. They put you guys all back together and put you out there. Then you have guys who did make it, like Joe Daddy Stevenson, who should not be fighting. There's a million fights. He's there. So you win that show. Then what? You can go into the UFC and get tossed to who? With the young killers? What is the point of that goddamn show? How some of those fights get sanctioned are crazy. How some of those guys are on there. But again, those guys are fighters. There's not a lot of options. Those guys are fighters. That's all they do. That's all they know. That's all they care about. And that's why they're on the show. And they want to win that show. And hopefully there's a redemption there. So there's a story there. But you watch that and you're like, to me, it's depressing. I view it and go, fuck, man. These guys, there's nothing else to do. They're back in the Ultimate Fighter house? Jesus. And where do you go from here?
I saw Joe Daddy on that episode too. It just didn't look.
Doesn't look right, does it?
Doesn't look good at all.
It's not all there. Again, the commission needs to look more into the stuff. We're going to see more serious. I'm not saying deaths. We shouldn't get our arms up in the air because it's the exception. But you're going to get a lot more bad results. What else you got? This show start off dark.
This is a little bit more fun. So, well, not this one. I'll just say it. So Stipe Miocic, you know how he once kind of like said, I would take on Joshua, Anthony Joshua, and he would feel really confident.
Yeah, super silly.
Well, he said that after he said that, International Business Times ran some article, and they posted like, Conor McGregor Mayweather undercard, and they put Stipe's face, right? And then Anthony Joshua actually tweeted or put a comment, and he wrote down, "Who the fuck is this guy?"
That's hilarious.
Like Conor
He used
McGregor.
Connor's. That's hilarious.
And then Stipe went back and said, "I'm the guy that's the, the baddest man on the planet. You're not even the baddest man
In your country.
or something
I
like that."
did
Yeah.
see that. It's fun shit talking. I don't want to see those
there it
guys
is.
fight. I don't want to see those guys. It's a great comeback by Stipe. It's fucking brilliant. You can't have other UFC fighters versus world champions on the undercard of Conor Mayweather. It doesn't work. It doesn't work.
The fact that Joshua even replied, though, does that mean he wants to play? Or is he just...
No, it's funny, And this guy is the universally recognized baddest man on the planet. You aren't even the baddest man in the UK. You're not even the baddest man in the UK. I love Stipe. It's a great comeback, but just looking at it logistically and breaking it down, you aren't even the baddest man in the UK. No, he kind of is.
Baddest boxer for sure.
Because
he's a heavyweight. No.
So if he says, I don't know, maybe Stipe's sticking up for Bisping because you're not even the baddest man in the UK. Well, he's a boxer.
Because of the weight. Oh yeah, actually, because Bisping is a mixed martial artist, so that's a tough one to compare.
Yeah, all right. I mean, yeah,
this is a silly argument. Though.
It's silly though. Yeah. I don't want to see them fight for many reasons. What else you got, brother?
Just since we're on this, real quick, you know that Adrian Broner called out Nate Diaz, and Broner is like supposedly really good friends with Mayweather.
Yeah.
So he has a fight coming up. Broner does. He's like, if I don't get hurt through that one, I would love to fight another undercard. So I think he would be able to pull strings if Nate wanted to do it.
I'm telling you, man, if you want a shit show, line up you can't do that. If you want this card to be taken serious at all, you have to put the undercard with other really good boxers. You know, young up-and-coming boxers or really good boxers and good matches, because this is a boxing match. You don't want it to become a complete shit show with all this circus of Nate Diaz, Broner, or what, you know, is it Nick or Nate?
Nate.
You don't want that. You do not. And I'll tell you this, and mark my words, the UFC, well, I shouldn't say this because I don't know exactly who's running the ship over there, who's making the decisions, but they're going down a tricky road. They're not going to let anyone else do this ever again. They're learning from what they're allowing Conor McGregor to do, and now he's setting these trends, and he's breaking through these ceilings that they never thought. They weren't equipped to deal with a guy like Conor McGregor. They were equipped to deal with a Brock Lesnar status, a Ronda Rousey status. We know how those end. You get kicked in the face, you ride off in the sunset. You get kicked in the face, try and make movies right off the sunset. We've seen that. We've seen Chuck Liddell ranked. We know that. But now you're dealing with a guy who's actually bigger than the UFC, who can do what he wants when he wants, and he's going to tell you exactly how he's going to do it. They're not equipped for this. So a guy like this comes along, calls these shots, perfect time, everything lines up. They're learning. So for the next guy, it's going to be even tougher to do this. I don't know if you're going to see this again. Because now in the contract, stuff like that, you know, UFC is going to control, especially WME with their lawyers, they're going to be able to control now how much say you have outside the octagon. Because before, it was never even thought of. What? Why would our best mixed martial artists, how the fuck would he ever get a fight with the best boxer of all time? That's not happening. They don't even think of this stuff. And now, I guarantee you see the contract completely different. So these other guys trying it, they're not good. They don't want to start this whole crazy chaos situation. They don't. It's also not good for the sport.
Of course,
it's bad. It's actually bad. I like this one time. I love this fight. Biggest fight of our lifetime. Believe that. Biggest pay-per-view ever. Biggest sports spectacle ever. However, there's only one. After that, it becomes a shit show.
What? This is a silly thought, but what if, since so many boxers want to fight MMA guys and back and forth, would there ever be a thing where they created some sort of league just for that? Like
this is a fad, and you know why it's a fad? Because everyone sees how much attention Conor's getting.
Of course, all the money and everything.
Yeah, if Conor wasn't on every radio show, talk show, sports show, MTV, ESPN, Showtime, HBO, it doesn't even matter if it's a competing network. You have to address it. This is how big of a sports spectacle this is. You have to address this. Ellen has to address this. Jimmy Fallon has to address this. Every magazine, BET, MTV, VH1, Spike, Bellator, everyone, you have to address this. Even if it's on a competing network, you have to address the magnitude of this fight and actually give an opinion of it. Otherwise, you're not doing shit, and no one cares right now. So guys see this, especially fighters. This is what you want, man. You want that fame, you want that money. This is how you get paid, by becoming a household name. So they see that. They like the glitz and glamour, but this ain't for you. There's only one. There's only one who can do this. If you're not even a draw in your own lane, how the fuck can you come over to boxing and become a draw? When phenomenal fighters never become a draw. It's not for you, man. That he is the big green Dublin elephant in the room. The rest of you are all gray elephants. Stay in your circus. This isn't something that's going to happen a lot. You're not going to see a lot of crossover. It's a once in a lifetime thing. After that, it becomes gimmicky. Hate to tell you.
This one's a little odd too, but I still love it.
Mm-hmm. What else you got?
All right. How about, what do you think of this? So Conor's agent says that he's definitely going to return to the UFC. He even said that he would even try to come back this year, the end of this year. Like, he's not done after the boxing match.
Yeah, listen, no matter what happens in the outcome of this fight, Conor's not going to be beat up. His face isn't going to be beat up. He's not going to get knocked out. If he loses, it will be by decision. If there's a knockout, it will come from Conor McGregor knocking Floyd Mayweather out. I can guarantee you that. So, guarantee you. Right? Take it to the bank, whatever you want to do. So, with Conor, he I think he could fight on that huge, you know how they always do the huge December card? That like the New Year's, the end of December card. I could see him fighting Nate Diaz for the 155-pound world title on that. If he comes back. The agents have to say this right now.
That's what I wanted to ask you.
They're playing game right now because I guarantee, Dana, his whole thing is no. He said he'd come back. He told me that. Mm-hmm. You don't have to do shit. You're going to be singing a little different tune when there's 100 million. And everyone goes, I see online, everyone goes, well, Shab, you even admit yourself you're never a real fighter. So he wants to come back because he owes it to us and he's a real fighter. Look at his tweets. Understand what you're talking about. Know the premises you're talking about. Conor McGregor was the first one to say, get in, get paid, get out. I'm not making this shit up. Coming from that fucking guy. Mm-hmm. That's not my quote. It's his quote. He's the one who started this train. He realizes the repercussions of sticking around too long. Talk to some of the older UFC guys. Talk to some of the older boxers. You don't want to be that guy. What? You don't think Conor could come right into Hollywood right now and be a star of a movie and make insane money doing that instead of fighting Nate Diaz again? Do I think he's going to fight Nate Diaz again? Yes. I think it's the only fight. Do I think it's December? Probably not. Could be. Depends how fast he wants to get done. That's the only fight you will ever. You're going to see two more fights like Conor McGregor. You're going to see Floyd Mayweather, obviously, on August 26th on Showtime. Then you're going to see him fight for the 155-pound lightweight title of the world against Nate Diaz, which will both. So you're going to have the biggest boxing pay-per-view of all time. And then after that, he's going to set the biggest pay-per-view UFC fight of all time and then dip out. You will not ever see him fight Tony Ferguson. You will never see him fight Khabib. That ain't happening. Quit tweeting, Instagram me. That ain't fucking happening ever. Hate to tell you. That's not happening. You're getting those two fights. Peace.
Do you think he does better at 155 against Nate?
Yes. What else you got?
How many more you want?
Let's do two more.
Two more. What's a goodie? All right, so this one. Michael Bisping said that Dana called him on the phone recently and said he has an offer for him. Bisping doesn't want to get into it, what it is, but it's not a fight. He goes, it's an offer, and then if he takes this offer, the GSP fight's off the table for some reason. So he also says that Dana said that GSP does not want to fight him.
Hold up. So on the latest episode of Believe You Me, that's an interesting name. I love Bisping, though. Bisping weighed in on a current situation with St. Pierre. He says, right now I'm still looking at GSP. He might need to give that up. I had a conversation with Dana White last week on the phone. He made me an offer, not for a fight. I will not reveal on here what it was, but made me an offer for something. I'm assuming it's an analyst job or they're trying to build in London or something like that. What else would Dana offer?
I have no idea.
I said, what about GSP? He said, GSP does not want to fight. I said, well, that's not what I hear. I said, I'm hearing he wants to fight me. His coach told me that he wants to fight me. He said, if I can make the GSP fight happen, I'll make it happen. But he does not want to fight you. I'm telling you. So I don't know what the fuck is going on out there. So I'm represented and I'm the same agents as GSP. I will tell you this. He does want to fight. I told you guys from the very, very beginning, it's medicals. Dana knows this. The UFC knows this. The commission knows this. Bisping's team knows this. GSP's team obviously knows this. So we knew it was going to be delay. He's just trying to get the floater in his eye taken care of, so he's healthy enough to fight, and he's putting his best foot forward. So this whole GSP doesn't want to fight, he's scared to fight, that's all bullshit. That's all fake news. Stay woke. Stay woke. What else you got? One more.
All right. Since you mentioned that it's Conor going to be knocking out Mayweather, Floyd's coach.
When you say his coach, you mean his dad or uncle?
No, Angelo Reyes.
Okay.
He says that Mayweather's going to knock him out in 3 or less rounds. Mayweather's going to knock out McGregor in 3 or less rounds. That's his prediction.
Again, who's this guy?
I just see Coach Angelo Reyes.
Okay, I've heard of him. He's actually a beast.
Okay.
Angelo Reyes, I will offer you the $100,000 bet that I offered to Max Kellerman, which he turned it down because he says you never know what's going to happen in boxing. That's what I thought. I offer Angelo Reyes the same bet, $100,000. Conor wins a round. A bunch of people, dude, I'll take that bet. I'm not betting any regular people. I'm betting experts in the game who claim they know their shit and they don't know shit about mixed martial arts. That say they wouldn't touch him. That say he won't win a round. Homeboy saying I get your hype in the fight. So, but when you call them on their bluff, like, no, I don't want to bet 100. But what'll happen? But no, But in front of all those people, you're a real badass. Like, your ego is great, man. You're talking about how he's not going to touch him. It's the easiest fight of his life. I get that. So why not just take $100K? You were so sure. What happened? Oh, dude, you know how it goes. Yeah, I do know how it goes. And I'm telling you how it's going to go. And I'm willing to put my money where my mouth is. What's up? There you go. And then this doesn't work, man. This does not work. McGregor didn't dominate Nate Diaz. I'm just saying that he didn't beat the heck out of Nate Diaz. Okay. All right. Well, you're talking about a mixed martial arts fight against a way bigger opponent who's not a counterpuncher, who's not a smaller man, who fights in a boxing ring. These are the worst arguments I've ever seen. It makes them look so stupid. Even Jim Lampley, when he's doing the CompuStrike numbers, they're just so uneducated about the way our sport works. Oh, he's not a high output puncher. Well, fuck, man, it's MMA. You're not going to see the same output in a mixed martial arts fight with Conor styles. You're going to see against a guy like Maidana or Turu Gatti or Lomachenko. That's not our sport. Doesn't work that way. The knockout rate is so much higher. It's not even funny. There's more ways to lose. The odds they're completely different, man. The stakes are way higher. Hate to tell you, our gig is way tougher. It's way tougher. Different animal, man. Sharks or dolphins. So when this drives me nuts.
I guess they have to say this too, though, right?
True.
It's boys fighting. So.
True. All right, let's get in the fights.
All right, UFC.
I'll tell you what's tough for me, man, is not tough. I'll take it. It's all good. My barber, I get gas. I buy a drink. I get a shake. I get coffee. Everyone. Bro, Conor McGregor, Floyd, I got to hear it. Like, you didn't hear the podcast? Or you not read my tweets? I'm breaking... last night before I go on stage, all the comedians around, I'm breaking down Conor Floyd. That's what I did for my warm-up group before I go on stage. For an hour, I broke down Conor Floyd for all the comedians and agents. It's all good. All right, let's get into the fights.
Want to do UFC first or Bellator?
Yeah, I guess do UFC. Bellator smashes this card. But, I mean, it's on UFC Fight Night on a Sunday. I like that's on a Sunday. I actually like Sunday night fights. Kind of time to chill. Watch some good fights.
Sunday morning, too.
Yeah, this is a good Sunday card. This is on what? This is on at
FS1.
6 p.m. Pacific. I thought you said Sunday morning.
Oh, I said I like Sunday morning.
Oh, no, get that shit on my face. No, Sunday morning. What are you? Fuck, that's Jesus' morning, man. Oh. Just kidding. But still, definitely no fights in the morning. Actually, I wouldn't mind it every Sunday morning. But I do like Sunday night. All right, let's break down the big ones. BJ Penn freaking Dennis Seaver. I can't. I don't get it. I do not get it. Both of them. Seaver, you want to talk about stiff? Stiff. If he throws one more spinning back kick, I'm gonna bust. If you throw that fucking, everyone sees it coming all the way from Germany, that Nazi spinning back kick, I'm gonna fucking bust, man. And it ain't working, and everyone sees it. This isn't fucking 2004. Quit throwing that one fucking trick pony. So he got absolutely starched by Conor McGregor. We all saw that in Boston. That was a great time. And then he lost to Kawajiri in a decision. And so he's fighting BJ Penn.
Yeah.
Tell you what, I like this way better than Yair Rodriguez or fucking, these other monsters they're going to have him fight. I'll take it. But for BJ, you look at his, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 9. So he's 1 out of his last 9. Is that right? 1 out of his last 9?
What are you looking at? Oh, his last 9.
Yeah.
3, 4. 2 out of his last 9.
You counting a draw against John Fitch?
No, wins, right?
Gotcha. 2 out of his last 9. Either way, not bad numbers. You know what? Bad numbers. I don't know. He looked awful against Yair Rodriguez. It's BJ. He's a walking legend. If fucking Seaver comes out and just keeps doing spinning back kicks like Vitor and TRT, and he's just doing them nonstop, he'll probably land something. It's a shit fight. Let's be real. I hope BJ Penn gets his back, chokes him out. I will never pick against BJ Penn. Against Yair, that was awful, but that's just a shitty matchup. I'll take BJ. Do not bet on that. Do not get mad at me and bet on that. I'm not picking against BJ. BJ's record's getting super salty too, man. I don't get it. Do not get it. I love BJ. Tim Means versus Garcia's. Let me look at the card. That or the main event is your fight of the night. Guida Cooch is a good one. Coach. Eric Koch. God, he's been around for a while, but he leaves and comes back. Yeah. He had the shaved head, and he's so talented, man. Clay Guida's been doing the goddamn thing forever. But that could be a good potential fight of the night. But your fight of the night is Means versus Garcia or the main event with Lee and Michael. Means Garcia. Garcia's a power puncher, and Means just that dude who's tough as fuck to finish. He's just like that New Mexico Diaz boy. He's just a very Diaz-esque Tim Means from New Mexico, the dirty bird who fully redeemed himself after he got busted for PEDs. Fully redeemed himself. Then the thing with him, he had that terrible situation with the Brazilian cowboy Oliveira with the illegal knees, and then he fights Oliveira, and Oliveira kind of tore him up in Brazil. So this is a big one for Means, man. He's not getting any easy fights. With the cowboy, Brazilian cowboy, and now with Garcia. Garcia's a beast on the ground, and his knockout power's been tough to deal with for a lot of guys as well. God, these are tough fights to pick, man, because they're all pretty even. I don't know if you've looked at the money lines, but I would assume that they're pretty close fights because there's so many potential fight of the nights. Mm. He knocked out Mike Pyle. Mike Pyle's older veteran. He's not a knockout artist. I like Tim Means.
Yeah, super close.
Super close, right?
Minus 240 for Tim Means, plus 200 for Alex Garcia.
Yeah, I'll take Tim Means. You got BJ Penn plus 175. Interesting. I got Tim Means. Carry on, sir.
Here we go. Boach? Or do you want to go?
I would go Boach. Okay. Don't ever bring that fight in my face again. Tim Boach, Johnny Hendricks. I like this fight. Couple of burly boys going at it. Couple of big old corn-fed boys.
Boach, is he way bigger? I don't know.
He's a big dude, man.
I can imagine me humongous.
Boach is a big guy, and hits like a Mack truck. God, Johnny Hendricks needed that last one so bad, didn't he? Johnny Hendricks, former world champion at 170. At 85, him beating Hector Lombard, and that was a close fight. Before that, he fell on tough times, but God, I'm not crazy about this fight for Johnny. It's a dangerous fight, man. I like Johnny, though. I think he gets done. He has more tools. His cardio is going to be better than Big Boy Boach. Mm-hmm. The only thing is in the clinch, I'm a little worried about it because Boach is a monster in that clinch, but he's strong, and he has those uppercuts. Remember his fight with Okami in Japan?
He launched a guy into a fence or off a fence once. I remember it was like the craziest thing.
Yeah, he's fucking tough, man. Yeah, I'll take Johnny Hendricks. TKO. Late, though. TKO to decision. I'll go with TKO because Johnny does hit hard, but Tim Boach is a tough guy to put away. I'll take Hendricks. What's the line on that? Minus 225. Yeah. Like I said, they're all close fights, man. They're all really close fights. Carry on.
Here we go. Chiesa versus Lee.
Ooh, man! This is a fun fight. Isn't it interesting how those press conferences, when there's beef, it really amplifies the fight. Like before, I could be honest, I did not give a shit about this fight. Yeah. It's so weird how something like that. I like the way Kevin Lee dresses, the way he talks. I don't think he's working with Floyd Mayweather for the fight, but there's talks of him coming in helping Floyd. Michael, he's been this guy who's quietly, moving to the top 5, quietly doing work. He's a monster on the ground. He's lost to Joe Lozon and Masvidal. Nothing to hang your head about that. He beat Dariush, who I thought was going to be a tough matchup for him. Beat Jim Miller. And so he beat Dariush. Let's just go through this. He beat Dariush, who's a fucking savage black belt, like legit black belt on the ground. Standing rear naked choke. He choked out rear naked choke Jim Miller, again, who's a accomplished black belt. Both of those guys are legit black belts, man. And then you just go through his record and you look at, he beat Al Iaquinta.
Looking at his record, he looks like a badass.
He's a badass. He's flying under the radar. For sure, don't say something about his mom. He's a bust. You say something about his mom, he's gonna rip people's faces
off. Even though that stuff sort of looked not real, it still made the interest better. Even though it looked
real
fake.
To me, because Michael's not a good actor.
I don't know. Something when he held the mic. Don't say that about my mom. Don't say that about my mom. And he just held the mic so perfectly.
I just think he's uncomfortable on the mic. I think him rushing over there is out of character for him. That shit was real.
Either way, it worked.
It definitely worked. Now you want to see it, right?
A little bit more, at least.
A little bit more. Yeah, Kevin Lee, a guy who, again, we need these young guys in the UFC. But, Kevin Lee hasn't really beat. Name the best guy he's beat. They have the common opponent in Iaquinta. And he lost to him. But again, nothing to hang your head on. Iaquinta's a fucking monster. I like Michael in this fight, man. He's faced better competition. I like him on the ground. It's gonna be tough to get Kevin Lee down to the ground. It's gonna be quite the task.
Let's look at the
he always finds a way to do it. I would assume. Damn, Michael's an underdog.
Yeah,
plus 110. I like that bet. The thing about Kevin Lee, he has all this hype around him right now, and which is valid. He's a monster. I'll take Chiesa. Who you got?
Because I saw his record, Chiesa.
Oh, have you not seen him perform before?
I've seen him, but he kind of goes under
He's
my
so
radar.
Under the radar, zero marketing.
I have a
He's
feeling
fought monsters, ranked number 7 in the world. This is a tough fight for him.
My memory is he was not exciting for me to watch. I could be completely mistaken. Maybe I'm comparing him to the other guy, the John Hackelman dude.
Oh, you're talking about. I know who you're talking about. Who OD'd on meth?
Yes,
and came back on Ultimate Fighter.
I think I'm mixing those two guys up. Then that's what I'm doing.
He's exciting too.
I don't think so.
No? Maybe you just hate white people with beards.
With beards, yeah.
All right, let's go to Bellator. I'm excited for this card, man. God. Hey, Zach Freeman, back up, bro. Back up, man, on your picture on fucking the biggest card of all time for Bellator at Madison Square Garden. How about you back on up? And how about Fedor in that picture? Is that Megamind? Is that Megamind? Oh my God.
It doesn't look
and
like
look
him.
at the noggin on Matt. Hey, who took all these pictures?
No, it doesn't look right.
These are terrible. Look at Vanderlei. Vanderlei looks like he just got caught doing something terrible. And then, Chael in that picture just looks like he does not want to be there. These are hilarious. The only good pictures are Chandler and Lorenz Larkin.
There's more on the TV card here.
Again, Alice Uger, back up on the camera, man. Heather Hardy, not mad at her. Oh, James Gallagher, Chinzo Machida.
That looks like such an awesome fight.
That is such a great fight. God damn, that's a good fight.
Before you mentioned Chinzo, I never really paid attention to Chinzo. And then as soon as you talked about him, I saw that first fight. And then his last fight, his most recent fight, you should see the knockout on that one.
I've seen it.
Freaking ridiculous.
Monster, right?
Yeah, it's so fun to watch.
Yeah, his brother's Lyoto Machida, his dad. He got the same training Machida did.
He's
his
older.
brother. Yeah, Lyoto, they get the same training. And, when Lyoto and I would train together at the Grace Academy at Black House, Chinzo's always doing all the same training, fucking dudes up next to us, smaller guys. He's a monster, man. James Gallagher has that swagger, that fucking, he's from Ireland, right? Mm-hmm. He has that swagger, and when they talk and the way he dresses, and he has the fuckboy haircut like me, like when they do all that stuff, man, you put that together, you have a marketing package. And he speaks well, dresses well, he's a knockout artist. I got to be honest with you guys, man. I'm on this James Gallagher train. And the other thing is, and it's going to be so tough to stick out on this card because there's so many great fights to talk about. I would assume that Gallagher will be somewhat of the talk after this fight, which is insane to say when you look at the card. But I would assume Gallagher is going to be somewhat of the talk. I will. And I love Chinzo, and I hate picking against people I've trained with that I know, but I do not like that fight for Chinzo. I do not like that. I like Gallagher in a knockout. I'm sorry, Leo. I'm sorry. Don't hate me. You like Chinzo?
I take Chinzo.
You want to bet on that one?
Yes.
Dinner in New York?
Fine.
Deal. I got Gallagher, Chinzo. And then you got Phil Davis, Ryan Bader. Bellator, UFC, Ryzen, World Series, ABD, whatever the fuck is, ABC Fighting Club in Russia. You got all that stuff. ACB.
Absolute Berkut.
Oh, wow. That's so intense. Yeah. These are two of the top 5 light heavyweights on the planet fighting on free TV on Spike. On Spike. You look at just any of the rankings, these guys are in the top 5, top 6 on anyone's rankings. Ryan Bader, Phil Davis. Look at the resume of Phil Davis and Ryan Bader. It's insane, especially Phil Davis. He's beat guys in Brazil. Let's just go over this. In Brazil, he's beat Glover Teixeira, Lyoto Machida. He beat these fools in their own country by decision. Grappled the piss out of Glover. Grappled the balls off of Glover in Brazil. It was crazy. Wore his ass out. They beat Lyoto Machida. It was a close decision, but still, man. They beat Little Nog. God, he's the Brazilian killer. He beat Alexander Gustafsson. He forgot that. Anaconda choke. Granted, it was early on, but I don't care. Still win. They beat the All-American dad, Brian Stan. And then you look at freaking Phil Davis in Bellator, and he's just doing work, man. He beat Newton, who's a long-time champ for them. He was a beast. If you remember his fights with King Mo, he beat Francis Carmont, which Francis is a tough customer in the UFC. Not the most exciting guy, but still tough. And then he beat King Mo by decision. I was at that fight. And then Liam McGarry, who he's fallen tough times, but he's a monster, man. He's just his Achilles heel is a guy like Phil Davis. So Phil and Bellator, and right before Phil signed with Bellator, who'd he lose to? Ryan Bader by a split decision in Stockholm. And Bader says the time change and all that, and I'm sure, because I just dealt with time change myself, I'm sure it's a beast.
Oh, yeah.
That fight makes my fight with Andre Arlovski look like a fucking Leonard Garcia fight. Their last fight, Ryan Bader and Phil Davis' last fight was so boring. It makes my fight with Andre Arlovski look like Roy McDonald, fucking Robbie Lawler too. I mean, that fight was so boring, and they know this, and that's why I love this fight. That's why I love this fight, because once you realize you've been in it before, you see what the other guy brings, you're going to be more willing to let your hands go. So, the pressure here is really on Bader. It's not on Phil Davis, because Phil Davis has established himself in Bellator. He's the champ. He's beaten well-known guys in Bellator who are great fighters regardless of what organization they're in. So he's established himself. He's the king of that light heavyweight. He's going to be a very tough guy to beat. But with Ryan Bader, if you look at who's gotten better since they fought, I look at the skills of what Ryan Bader's doing. I look at Phil Davis, and Phil Davis has always been good. And he's this freaking top 5 in the world. But I got to give it to Ryan Bader, one who has gotten better. Now, Phil Davis has beaten better guys, but Bader, God, he hasn't beaten Powder Puffs either, man. He really hasn't. He beat, God damn, it's tough to say that. It's really tough because he beat OSP, he beat Phil Davis, he beat Rashad Evans, and obviously got murked by Anthony Johnson, but can't hang on that. He beat Latifi, KO'd him with a knee, then beat Little Nog. I'd still give it to Phil Davis after looking at those resumes. But the guy who's improved most since their last fight would be Ryan Bader. I actually hate picking this fight. But God, it's a tough fight to pick. Who do you got?
I just immediately think Phil Davis without even thinking too much about it.
My initial thoughts are Phil Davis, but Ryan Bader's gotten so much better, man. And there's more pressure on him, wrestling's gonna be the factor here, and can they negate the wrestling? And if it goes on its feet, Bader has all the power here, and it's such a close fight. The odds have it plus 100 to minus 120. Oh boy, you're taking Phil? I fucking hate picking against either one of these guys. I'll take Bader then.
Fair enough. It's super close too on the odds.
Yes. Oh, we kind of got to go, huh?
Yeah.
Let's go to the main card. So the Phil Davis, Ryan Bader, live Spike TV free. I will also be on that portion of the broadcast doing my thing. I got a dapper ass suit. I got a black boss suit with a pink undershirt and a dope ass tie. Stay tuned for that. Let's roll through this main card before I miss my flight. So yeah, Aaron Pico, Zach Freeman. Even though Zach Freeman's 8-2 and it's a terrible picture on there, he's way too close to the camera. It looks like he was taken with a owl lens. Aaron Pico's the future. Aaron Pico will be your champ at lightweight. I'd say in the next 18 months. I'll give the kid 18 months before he's world champion.
18 months.
18 months to be world champion.
Let's see.
Less than 2 years, that kid will be your next world champion at lightweight. If you look at his resume, you're talking about a kid, he's the future. This is the growth of the sport. He's a kid who started in wrestling, started boxing, but doing it just for mixed martial arts, to be a mixed martial artist. He could have went to college, could have went to Olympics, but he wants to be a professional mixed martial artist. Of course, Bellator, Scott Coker sees this kid as the next big thing. He will be the next big thing. He eats Zach Freeman up like a fucking gordita crunch. And then light heavyweight. So this is your biggest mismatch on the card. I'm not sure of the odds, but Chandler's going to steamroll through Primus. And Chandler's by far one of the best lightweights on the planet. God, Chandler, Pico. That's a tough test for Pico right now. And you're talking about a guy making his debut. So I want to say 18 months. Let's move that to 24 months when you got Chandler sitting there like that. Douglas Lima, Lorenz Larkin. That's a great fight. That's going to be such a close fight. I like Larkin, man, and I think all the pressure's on Larkin too. And, I did this sit-down interview with him for this piece with Spike and Bellator. And Lorenzo doesn't feel any pressure. He goes, that's just another fight, it's just this. There's no pressure. I disagree. I think all the pressure's on him. But you look at, again, I always go back to resume. Who have you been in there with? How are you battle tested? And Lorenz destroys Douglas Lima in that case. Mm-hmm. Douglas Lima is a guy, he's going to be, I think he's tied for one of the greatest knockout artists in Bellator, if not the most knockouts in Bellator. But, he hasn't beat a ton of guys. He's also a guy who couldn't make the Ultimate Fighter, if you remember that. So, Lorenz Larkin's beat some of the very, very best. He should have had his world title shot when he's in Strikeforce. You remember that? He's supposed to fight Luke Rockhold, and it never came to fruition. He's beat, ready for this, Robbie Lawler. All right? He's beat Robbie Lawler, Jorge Masvidal, Neil Magny. I mean, these are straight up killers. Straight up killers. I like Larkin to get it done in a decision. And now we'll go to the main two. You got Fedor versus Matt Mitrione. So the main event and the co-main event, I don't think these are the best fights on the card. I'm going to stick by that, and obviously, Bellator might have some other say on that when I break the fight down. But to me, these aren't the draw. They're fun fights, but they're not the fights. Those 3 fights we just broke down, and those 2 fights on Spike, the last one on Spike, that's your real fights. That is as good as fights as you're ever going to see with no matter what organization. Those cream of the crop, talent versus talent, newcomers, vets, world champions in their prime, great mixed martial arts at its highest level. Then you go to the main and co-main event, which is going to sell pay-per-views, which are going to draw people in. It's Fedor, regarded as the best heavyweight of all time, the last emperor, Matt Mitrione, right? Which Fedor shows up, which Matt shows up? Is it Matt who realized that Fedor is this legend and he's reserved and he's not pulling the trigger and he's worried about getting taken down and the explosiveness and the hoopla and the hype behind Fedor? Because then Matt's in trouble. Is it Fedor who fought Melodano, which was he actually lost that fight? It went to a split decision in Russia, and they even tried to overturn it and thought about it. He lost that fight. Which Fedor is it? How good of shape is he in? Is it ultimate dad bod? Does he still have the explosiveness? Madison Square Garden, does he still want to fight? Speed advantage, Mitrione. Footwork, Mitrione. Knockout power, Mitrione. More dynamic, Mitrione. X Factor, Mitrione. Mental game, Fedor, by a long shot. And that outweighs all those things I just listed. Saying that, Matt knocks him out. That fight will not go all the rounds. Matt knocks Fedor out. Chael Sonnen, Wanderlei Silva. Again, breaking down these 2 older gentlemen, these 2 legends of the sport. How bad does Chael want to be in there? He's talking shit on New York, right? He does, and I know it's this whole gimmick stuff like that. And his way of shit talking, to me, is more gimmicky than anything. Conor's kind of changed the game on that. It's real. He calls his shots. He means it. And I look at Chael Sonnen's very, very too heavy WWE for me. I don't even care anymore. His shit talking doesn't sell the fights anymore. Because it's not real. It's not genuine. And the one thing everyone needs to be these days with how transparent social media, the shows are, is realness. And Chael is not real, and we can all smell it. And Chael, I love you. And I'm not talking about Chael Sonnen the person. I'm talking about Chael the fighter, Chael the entertainer. I do not like it anymore. I'm not buying that hype anymore. His fight against Tito, he didn't look very good. I thought he looked for a way out. Tito ended up getting the win. It's still Tito Ortiz who's a monster. Listen, Wanderlei Silva, he got screwed over by the commission. He's been wanting to fight. I think he's going to want it more. I'm sure he's an underdog. I would assume Chiesa's going to come out and he's just going to shoot for a double leg. It's not a great fight. Unless Wanderlei Silva wins by knockout, it's not a great fight. He's going to take him down. And I know I shouldn't be saying this because I'm working for him. But what I'm saying is Chael's not going to sit there and strike with Wanderlei Silva, a knockout artist. If he does, you're going to have a great, exciting fight. I would assume, and going based on how Chael's looked in Bellator, he's going to shoot a double leg like it's 8th grade, all the way from the side of the cage and try to get him down. And hopefully Wanderlei's working on that so we get a more entertaining fight. But this card is amazing. Chael Sonnen of Wanderlei should have happened a long time ago. I'm still interested to see it. There's really, really bad blood. That's real. It's just Chael Sonnen shit talking, and it's not real. It's very scripted. It's ready to go. He probably wrote it weeks ago and then saved it for the tweets. It's not real to me, and I can't stand that. So I cannot filter myself when I say that. So if they're mad at me, I apologize. But it's just, that's real, man. I can't fake this. Fedor Matt is a great fight. That's a fun fight. I think Fedor gets knocked out. I think Chael Sonnen wins by decision. I think Lorenz Larkin wins by close decision. I think Michael Chandler starches Brent Primus. And I think Aaron Pico is the big takeaway here as well. And he's your next featured champ. Then on Spike, you got Phil Davis, Bader, which is an amazing light heavyweight fight for the world championship. And then James Gallagher is also your next big thing at featherweight. Boom. Check it out. There's my pick. I love you guys. Thank you for listening. I have so many dates coming up. I think they're going to try and announce it on Friday. Just the ones off the top of my head that are confirmed, but the tickets aren't for sale yet. They go on sale on Friday. They're trying to get out before the big July 4th week when everyone shuts it down. Toronto, Milwaukee, Chicago, Salt Lake, Arizona. Those are the top 5 coming up. Phoenix, Arizona are the only ones on sale right now. Those other cities go on sale, I want to say, hopefully by Friday. And if not, shortly after that. But Toronto, Chicago, Milwaukee, Salt Lake, and they're adding other dates as well. There you have it. Thank you guys for listening. I am off to New York. I'm actually running late. So hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned and enjoy the fights this weekend. Saturday, you have the huge Spike fight with Phil Davis, Ryan Bader live on Spike TV, Bellator 180, and I will also be doing a lot of TV work for that. So tune in for that. Support your boy. And then pay-per-view, you have the huge Madison Square Garden, Chael Sonnen, Wanderlei Silva, Fedor, Mitrione, Lorenz Larkin, Douglas Lima, Michael Chandler, Aaron Pico. Get you some. Bellator doing it right, son. I'm excited for it. Live on pay-per-view this Saturday, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern. Then you got the UFC on Sunday. Enjoy your fight weekend, everybody. I will be in New York. Till next time, as usual, bigger, browner, badder. That's a cell phone alarm, meaning my car's here. I love you guys. I'm Brendan Schaub. I'm out.